These and over 2,000 other direct quotations revealing the godly heritage of America can be found in America's God and Country Encyclopedia of Quotations by William Federer. This volume of over 800 pages cites founding fathers, presidents, statesmen, state constitutions, and court decisions. This reference tool is available in softcover for a donation of $35 or hardcover for $45 to VCY America. Call 1-800-729-9829. 1-800-729-9829.
You're listening to Crosstalk on VCY America. Tom DeWeese with us today from the American Policy Center. His website, AmericanPolicy.org. AmericanPolicy.org. And friends, if you want to stay informed on so many critical issues, if you go right to his website on the main page, you see a big blue box that says Stay Informed, sign up for our updates. You put in your name, your email address, and you hit submit. You're not going to be bombarded with all kinds of gibberish, but friends, you'll be informed on many, many different issues that American Policy Center has been engaged with, and this is one of those many issues. You'll see right on their homepage the political hot potato, AI data centers. You'll see also on affordable fair housing, the swamp alligator that must be removed, other issues as well that impact private property rights and free enterprise and so forth. So AmericanPolicy.org, you can go to his blue box there at the top, put in your email address, and you'll be part of those being kept informed. Let's go to Kevin in Tomah, Wisconsin. Kevin, you're on the air.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. I'll try to keep it brief. I know there's a lot of comments. I just wanted to say that we, as the people, are partially responsible for this problem. It's because of supply and demand. And people ask, what can we do as individuals? Well, I would suggest that we start using books again at the library, get rid of all the cameras and using Google as a verb and all this stuff that's requiring data. If we lower the demand, then they won't have to, supply it as much. You understand?
Yeah, and what's interesting when you couple that, though, with, look how many places now, you got businesses who no longer hand out circulators with their ads. You have to go to our website. You have to go to this. You have to get our app. And also, there are businesses that have certain charge cards. You'll have to have an electronic payment, or you're going to have a surcharge every month if you get the paper yet coming your way. So
the last thing I want to do is defend, BlackRock or any of these capitalists who are, supplying a need. But if we drop the need, then I think they'll have to think twice about growing so fast.
Thank you, Kevin, for the call. Tom, any response?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm speaking, I jokingly say my next major project is to get rid of the internet, and I get the loudest applause of the night. But just one thing here. First of all, I agree with you about the different way to live and all that. But a major part of this and the reason for the monstrous data centers and so forth, as we said earlier, is government using this power to create a surveillance society. So it's way more beyond just what we're doing on our own, because we've been doing that for a long time without these data centers, using our computers and our social media and so forth. So that's what we've got to make sure we stop, is this surveillance society.
Christine is next. Hi, Christine. You're on the air.
Hi. I'm out here stumping for candidates in Wisconsin, and I'm going to say Jim, Tom, Tiffany, I hope they all vote, who's trying to dial back the AI data centers, the everything. He's talked about everything, China, buying up our farmland, all of it, all the things that you have stated. But yet I'm out here with individuals who oppose those things, but yet no matter what, they're going to vote Democrat. And I'll tell you something, I hope you folks are praying for Wisconsin, because the ignorance is so profound, it's willing ignorance. And they literally want these things that you have said, but they're going to vote the other way no matter what. Yeah. So we got a huge problem. But, hey, thank you for everything you're doing, and I hope that Tom, Tiffany can succeed here in Wisconsin.
Thank you, Christine. And Tom, your comment there.
Well, one of the notes that I made in preparation for today was if the Republicans would come out and oppose these data centers, and so it'd be a major election issue, and we've got huge support for them. But who knows if they will? I've seen nothing but incompetence coming out of Republican leadership over a bunch of issues lately. So, but that it would be a huge thing for them to do if they would come out and stand up against these, and people like your callers and so forth would be right there to vote for.
I've seen some articles like 70% of the people being against these centers.
Yes, yeah. I mean, what more do you need to know when you're running for office?
Maria is calling from Indiana. Maria, you're on the air.
Yes, I'm just wondering, I know President Trump has been an advocate of AI in different ways and stuff, but is he fully aware of everything that you guys are talking about on this program, of the damage that this is doing and all the people that are opposed to it? And if so, if he could at some point, would this fall under the situation where he could make an executive order or something to outlaw, to not allow this stuff, or is this something that would have to go through Congress, or how could this be handled on the federal level?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and you just want to wonder why would he do this? He is absolutely surrounded by these forces behind AI, and he has been convinced that that is the way to go. We've got to do this to make sure that we've got the control over China, that we are ahead and they aren't, that China can't, the whole argument we said earlier that the country that's leading in AI will lead the world. And he's bought into that. And he did an executive order doing exactly the opposite of what you said. He did an executive order telling states that they can't pick and choose certain things on AI. It's got to be a unified force moving forward, which means they can't protect your property rights and that sort of thing. He has been absolutely wrong on this issue, and it's very disappointing. And again, we have got to make him feel our pressure and overcome somehow these guys who are stroking his ego to get him to continue to do this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the call. Tom, is there any connection with these data centers and all that's going on with another warning that we've given about central bank digital currency? Totally
connected. That's why they need these monster sizes and stuff, everything being digitally connected. You've got digital money, the digital passports, but now we got digital cars, basically, the stuff that they're doing with the cars to read everything that you're doing and control the shut-off switch and all that sort of thing. That's all computer-generated. It goes through these data centers.
We've got Al calling next. Hi, Al, you're on the air.
Thanks for my call. It's just in regards to a lady I called a few callers ago. Up in Port Washington, they're building a very big data center. There was enough outrage that they were able to they were doing 24-hour-a-day construction, and they were able to somehow get it knocked down, I think, from the number of complaints to have certain limits on the hours. Just a word of encouragement for her. It's a tough challenge. I do construction. I actually worked at one in Racine and Mount Pleasant down there, but definitely a challenge.
Great. Thank you, Al, for that. And Tom, let's just talk about this disruption. I mean, there is such a fast pace trying to get these centers up. Some have indeed, and they're in residential areas working 24/7. You think about the loud construction noises that happen, and that's disrupted many people's lives, let alone not only that, but so many, and I mentioned this on the last program too, are talking about a hum coming from these centers.
Yeah, I've heard recordings, people walking by them. They hear these hums all over. There's a noise pollution that goes on. There's also a whole lot of lights there. So at night there's a light pollution in your neighborhood where you want to sit out in your yard and have a barbecue and whatever. And this is all disrupting that. So, I mean, where is the environmental movement that told us for 30 years that we had to have all this as open space, protect the water, protect the air? Where are they? That they, I have said for 30 years that they are a hypocritical fake, that this had nothing to do with protecting the environment. It had to do with them gaining political power. Well, use some of that political power now and do something to protect the environment.
John is our next caller from Williams Bay. You're on the air, John.
Well, thank you so much. I'll be as brief as I can. when they first started taking farmland for solar panels, I thought, why on earth won't they use all of the grass along the superhighways?
Do you mean like the medians?
They can do the same thing with the AI. The government wants to do it. Okay, let them give the AI people tax-free to build on top of the superhighways, and when they get rid of the building, then the next person on it has to pay.
Okay.
That way the government is paying for everything. You're not taking any farmland, and you're using area that's not being used.
You're saying build above the highways?
You're talking about the solar panels, aren't you?
Okay. The solar panels.
No, the solar panels,
yeah.
when they first did the solar panels, they're taking our farmland. Why wouldn't they build on the grass?
I'll tell you what, I have seen a lot of different people saying something about that, build them in the parking lots, over the highways, things like that. The truth of the matter is, if you did do that, you would be living in a tunnel. Everywhere you go, you'd have solar panels over the top of you. Yeah. And the truth is, if we had all the solar panels that they say we need all over this country, you would only have about 10%, if that much, of the energy that we need in the first place, because they don't produce the energy that they say they do. And so, they'll destroy the cities then instead of the farms.
Thank you, John, for the call. Let's go to Sam next. Hi, Sam, you're on the air.
Yeah, enjoying the conversation, gentlemen. Say, Tom, it was refreshing to hear you all the excitement from the grassroots activists. And maybe it's time to put out a challenge in there for America that we all just turn off our phones for 24 hours and challenge ourselves to do that and see what effect that would have.
Well, I'll tell you, just telling people what the challenge is of the what these are doing to their communities and the culture of their community and everything else has been enough. But I know what you're saying. The argument that they use, though, is that we, those of us who are fighting this, are doing it over our computers and over our phones and all that, and how hypocritical that is. But the fact, as I said earlier, we've had the phones and we've had the social media and everything, and without the data centers, that doesn't require it. It's all the other stuff that they're trying to do, the digital money and the digital passports and all that.
Yeah, the tracking. Thank you for the call.
Right.
The tracking and Tom, when we think about the number of clicks one person does, and when you talk about medical records in some place, all those things are stored in bank account transactions. Everything else, I mean, everything is being housed, and people are being certainly pushed for more and more and more. And it's this surveillance aspect that has it draws a great concern.
I'll tell you one thing that people could do if they want to, do a challenge here. Start using cash for everything that you're buying as much as you can, instead of the credit cards, instead of using your accounts that way, your online accounts to do it. I've had several people talk to me about that, and so you've got stores now that are starting to become non-cash, and they need to start feeling some heat from that. And have them start taking it. Cash is the center of personalization, personal privacy of what you buy, what you own.
We've got Rylan calling from Watertown. Rylan, you're on the air.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. So I, as a young teenager, want to go into agricultural sciences, and kind of as a teenager seeing all this farmland just disappearing, what can I do as a young teenager to help spread the word?
Wow. Thank you, Ryland. To tell you what, we're 5 seconds from the break. We'll take the break, and we'll have Tom come back on that. Thank you for the call. Tom DeWeese is with us today. I'm a teenager. What can I do? I want to get into agriculture, and I see all of this disappearing before us. Tom will address that issue following the break. This is Crosstalk coming your way from VCY America. Our telephone number, 800-733-9829.
For the Worldview Report, I'm Brandon House. Our website's worldviewtube.com. I've been studying through the book of Daniel on Sunday nights. We got to Daniel chapter 6. And you know what I noticed? Daniel was someone that regularly prayed 3 times a day, as was his custom to do since early days. And I thought, that's interesting, since early days. Now, we know he was taken into captivity as a teenager, and so he clearly had some very godly parents and influence. But he was also being influenced by people like Solomon, because when I heard that he was practicing his prayers 3 times a day as an early child, I thought he clearly was reading Solomon. So I went and I studied some of the things Solomon talked about. And you know what I came up with? I came up with 16 things that Solomon says that the young people should do. And Daniel was doing every one of them. Folks, I highly urge you to study the advice given by Solomon to our young people today. They need it more than ever.
This is Crosstalk on VCY America. Tom DeWeese with us here today, and our number 800-733-9829. Tom's website, AmericanPolicy.org, and stay informed. Just put your email address in the blue box at the top of the page there, and send that on to him, and he will keep you informed on issues just like this. So, Tom, we had a teenager call here just before the break and just said, hey, I'm a teen. I want to get involved in agriculture. I see this farmland disappearing. What can I do? How can I make this known?
Let me tell you, I am so excited to hear from you, because this is a major development that we've got to move forward on. I've been talking to a whole lot of folks I work with saying we've got to get the young people involved. And what we have found, I know you guys are victims of what has happened, not knowing a lot of things that some of us older ones knew because we were taught differently in school and so forth, and how to move forward. But the main thing to do now to start is start talking to your friends, get some info. We need to get some information together that you can maybe pass out or something. Talk about their future. Where's your food going to be coming from? What are you going to do? How about your home? I know there are young people now who are afraid to get married. They're afraid to date. They're afraid to have children. They can't buy a home. And all of this stuff we're talking about today is the reason for that. And so we need to be able to get that information out to them, and you can begin to organize. If you began to go to city councils as a group of young people and bring this up, you would have a huge impact on the they are not expecting that, and that would be a concern to them, and they've got to feel your pressure as well.
We have Bonnie calling from Tucson, Arizona. Bonnie, you're on the air.
Hi, I just wanted to make a remark about the jobs that these things are going to create, because what I heard is there will be no jobs in those centers. There'll be AIs, and that's who will be running them, and they'll just have to have people that will keep them up to date on things. So that was my comment. Also, the copper mine that they're taking down right now at Santa Rita, they're just taking down another mountain. Arizona has copper mines, and they just take those mountains down and make big, ugly hills out of them, and the air quality is terrible. Yeah. And the whole thing is awful, and thank you for letting me say that. Thank you, Bonnie. Bye-bye.
Yeah, absolutely right. Everything that you said, and the copper issue is going to become a major one, because they need that for the wiring and everything, and they're going to find shortages with that, and they just don't seem to care what they do to the local communities to destroy your culture and how you live, and they just it's all about them.
Yeah, and these buildings will not be filled with people who are going daily to their job either. There's construction jobs going on right now, but these buildings will not be filled with workers.
Yeah. One other thing that they're doing, they're getting city councils to sign non-disclosure agreements so that you don't know the details, you don't know the facts. They're talking about it behind the scenes, and until it's done, you don't know, or it's already started and moving. You can't stop it. And that is, where is representative government? Who do these local elected officials represent? Private corporations or you who vote for them? That's the question you've got to start asking them.
Jim is calling next here in Milwaukee. Jim, you're on the air.
Yes, sir. I heard that China is pouring in billions of dollars to stop us from building these centers. Could that could it be a national security risk if we don't build them?
No. We've said about this already on here. That is not true. That is happening. I am working with activists all over the country. These are real, live people and none of them have had any experience that I've run into with anything from China. They can put out information and stuff, but I do know of somebody who is putting out this information that. He's been paid $15 million by George Soros to do it. Right. So there's probably the source of some of that money. But all these activists that I've been working with all over the country, or that I know about, nobody's gotten any money from China. China hasn't been involved at all. It's them, the citizens, that have been standing up to this.
Thank you for the call, Jim. John is next. You're on the air, John.
Thank you for taking my call. And maybe I missed this earlier if you talked about it, but I was wondering what your opinion was on these data centers as far as in empowering the Antichrist and end-time prophecy.
Thank you.
Because Revelation tells us that even the elect could be fooled. Yeah. So I was wondering if you thought that he would be tapping into this information and use it against us, or what your opinion was there.
Sure, and Tom is not a theologian as such. It's not part of his repertoire, but I will say Revelation chapter 13 does talk about one Antichrist who will require this mark, like a universal identification system whereby one will not be able to buy or sell without having that mark. And that's the data centers, Tom, are pushing for that universal identification and control over one's, really, their health, finances, every aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are definitely connections there. You can see it. And, this is an absolute destruction of human society if they are allowed to put all this stuff in place.
Thank you, John. Stacy is next in Lubbock, Texas. You're on the air, Stacy.
Yes, I'm a student going to college. I'm 47 years old, and I'm having a tough time with my studies as it is. But the conflict of interest that I'm finding that I think the teachers and students are up against is we're taught to utilize tools as far as technology and Word 365, and it kind of conflicts with, I guess, Copilot had just updated to make us utilize AI as a form of corrective spell. And it's kind of, I don't know if the school knows about it, but as the teachers are teaching, they're telling us that it's plagiarism to type something as we're researching it.
Yeah.
And so...
Stacy, I'm going to have to cut you off because we're down to 20 seconds. I want Tom to respond to you. Any response here?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, I said earlier that the students today are victims of all of this because this education system is one of the tools that this global agenda is using to make sure that their system is put in place, and our system of freedom that our founding fathers created for us, that the Bible tells us we should have, they are the enemy of that, and they're working to get rid of it. And these students, they're using them to make them tools. That's so students stand up and tell them no.
Tom DeWeese, our guest today. Tom, thank you for carving out the hour and joining us today.
Well, thank you so much, and I hope we can, write to us at our website. If you need something, we'll do everything we can to help you.
AmericanPolicy.org is the site, AmericanPolicy.org. God bless you, friends. Thanks for joining us today on Crosstalk.
You've been listening to Crosstalk via satellite and the internet from VCY America. Views expressed may or may not be those of this station. For a CD of today's program, send a donation of $6 or more to VCY Tape Ministry, 3434 West Kilbourne Avenue, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53208, or download by RSS or podcast from crosstalkamerica.com. And join us again for Crosstalk.